This match will play either Polina Burova or Busanan Ombangramfan. Also in this part of the draw, Tomoko Miyazaki, Lalirot Chaiwan from Thailand, and Jakobsen and Tai Tzu Ying, who has actually never won this tournament, believe it or not.
Yeo Jia Min, Singapore.
Here they come.
versus Wen Yu Zhang, Canada.
裁判员西姆斯·哈尔平，爱尔兰；发球裁判华雷斯潘达，印度。
Well, the
安排 Seamus
overwhelming
Hampton,
favorite for this will be the Singaporean Yeo Jia Min.
Pakistan, India.
Now up to 20th in the world, Jia Min. And Zhang at 48. And as we've said before, it is the platform, first meeting between them. The young players show their class.
Coach, several receive, okay?
That's Seamus Halpin, the umpire with the coin toss. Takes his position in the big chair. Fine C. Darwin is a service judge. So, Yeo Jia Min, 25 years old now, 17th in the world's highest ranking at 16, and that was December of 2021, so she really has picked herself up. Did make a very good run at the Olympics along with Lo Kian Yu. In fact, did wonders for Singaporean badminton generally, these two, with their runs. Quarterfinalists in Korea a couple of weeks ago. Said made the round of 16 in the Olympics, quarterfinalist in Thailand, third at the India Open, and quarterfinalist at the Malaysia Open right at the start of the year. As for Zhang Wenyu, just 22 years old, and is currently 4 places off her highest ranking of 44. Hasn't had significant results, obviously at her age, but was a quarterfinalist at the Pan Am Individual Championships. That's the only result she's picked up this year. So, Steen, I'm guessing this is going to be a eye-opening experience for Zhang.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, my predictions here have not been that strong in this tournament so far here. Yeo Jia Min is quick on her feet, and that might be a decisive factor here. But Wen Yu Zhang, she can play. Canada has got a good team in the women's department. Yeah. But the thing is, this is challenging playing conditions. I couldn't see or hear who chose ends. It looked to me like no one really chose ends, which I find astonishing if that's correct.
Well, in conditions like this, it is super important to end up as confirmation of Seamus Halpin in the umpire's chair, because of course changing ends at the end of each game and then changing ends at the end of each half of the third game means you want to be on the right side at the end should it get there. That's why
Ladies
coin
and
toss
gentlemen,
and the
on
choice
my right,
is so
Yeo
important.
Jia Min, Singapore. And on my left, Wen Yu Zhang, Canada. Yeo Jia Min to serve. Love all. Play. Service
Nice
over.
return off the start.
1-love.
Decisive winner
all.
into the corner from Jia Min. Maybe it's the footwork, maybe it's the consistency, but she does get around court very quickly. It's a lot more experience, even though she's only 3 years older.
2-1.
Wen Yu Zhang got a good win earlier this year against the normally, or at least the highest ranked Canadian Michelle Lee. She beat her in Thailand Masters. Michelle Lee coming back from injury. She's had a lot of injuries, Michelle Lee.
The last one was pretty serious.
Yeah.
Out for a good almost 6 months.
Yeah.
A singles match, so both of these ladies are going to be fighting the drift almost every rally.
Service over. 2-all.
And so far, the Canadian has been playing fine.
Service over. 3-2.
It's got to be out.
Service over.
Or perhaps it will be the unforced error count that is a defining factor here.
Yeah, but then again, that's one of the delicacies in terms of statistics, which errors are indeed unforced
And which are forced, yeah.
Forced mentally or because you're under a little bit of pressure. I think from what we've seen here in the opening stages, Wen Yu Zhang is going to be challenged in terms of speed of movement.
Tempo of the rally.
Yeah.
Well, that's something Jia Min could do very well. One thing to be a shot maker, that reliable, consistent movement is what's really going to win you the day.
3.
And she's created a 3-point lead for herself already.
And one of the things that we might be able to see, we might see here is that Wen Yu Zhang is having to make the racket make up for the deficit in terms of speed of movement.
Yeah,
that's not something to be sort of ashamed about. Yeo Jia Min is extremely quick on her feet, but that also sometimes means that you tend to play a little bit too sharp at some occasions.
Right. What she has to do is keep Zhang on the defensive,
Service over.
or at least moving around enough, and put her off her shots. Mistake there, so 8-4.
Super shot from Yeo Jia Min.
9-4.
Super placement, that's exactly what you want as a player. You want to play with a little bit of margin and still have the chance of making a winner. Ooh. At the moment, her own service is sort of like her own biggest enemy. 2 of the 5 points scored by Wen Yu Zhang has been on service errors from Yeo Jia Min.
Well, that's what we were saying about gifting points and the difference between forced and unforced errors. For some of these top 20 players, it's got to play on their minds a bit.
10-5.
One of the things Wen Yu Zhang needs to do, as I mentioned, her racket's got to do a little bit more, so she's got to put pressure on in the service situation. She tried it there,
5 interval.
to no avail.
So 11-5 at the break. Yeo Jia Min so far is edging ahead.
不用等那么拼，你一给拼，他都站那儿了，包括一些球都正好在这个位置。你要是再高，
你让我打平，你说他一发力就输了。
我爱打平的，你得球让他上去，你都是在他正好位置上不平点，让他高一点，要不然你就直接就超高，或高你就只能很高很远的，但应该高位。他现在就一步就拦下来，根本来不及了，对不对？ 而且你这边本来就是逆风球，不用那么小心，你小臂带着跑，
Court 1,
你都没有打过后挡出界，你出界一个两个没关系。
20 seconds.
So back on court, conclusion of game 1.
Play.
And Jia Min might be able to play a little bit more freely now. Oh, that was nice from
Service
Zhang.
over. 6-11.
High lift serve.
Oi, oi, oi. It's going to be costly missing those opportunities. That was a big one from Wen Yu Zhang.
Open court. She missed. That was a very difficult shot to return for Zhang Wenyu. There's that service again, yeah.
7-13.
So problems off the serve for the Singaporean.
Said she was devastated after the Olympics. Really had her chances against Iowa Hori to make quarterfinal at least.
Yeah, it was close.
It's gone long.
8-13.
But as I said earlier, Lo Kian Yu and Yeo Jia Min did enough for Singaporean badminton. They could have obviously, would have been wonderful if they picked up medals, but their runs, both of them, were inspiring. It did cause a lot of headlines back home. Oh, should have been an easy kill for Jia Min, but she's pushed it wide.
9-13.
But she did well to push Zhang back right here. That lift, putting her on the back foot, gives her the open shot, but just a couple of centimeters off. And that is
There's
in.
a challenge.
There's a challenge, yeah, it's worth
Wen
it
Yu
all.
Zhang challenges called in.
Well, she was saying it necessarily is long, but it's worth having a look, because when it sort of slides after the back line or before the back line, as the line judge thought, then it's worth having a second opinion.
She was in a good position to see it. Let's have a look. Here's the official truth, and that is just out.
Correction, out. Ten, 13.
Well, it's all about women's singles right now here at the Changzhou Olympic Sports Center. Gregoria Tunjung is on court 2. And Thuy Lin from Vietnam is on court 3. Chances coming,
Service over.
but not being converted.
14-10.
So, service coming up. This time she managed it.
But I'm guessing with services action, you should be at about 90-95%, right? you can't really.
I think you should be above 90%. I think you should be above 95%.
95, 99, but you really can't be messing around with 50%, 60% completion.
Service over. 11-15.
And she hasn't been that low, but certainly has. That's been the one area where she's been bleeding points. You know,
Yeah, so you could say that the scoreline is actually a little bit deceptive at the moment.
But there's been at least,
it's a little bit too favorable, because she's got 3 total gifts. So 15-8 is more correct.
Not quite reflecting what's going on.
No.
16-11 now.
can see that she's nervous in the service situation. She's sort of like, looks like she's sort of touching something that's electric or poisonous and wants to get away with the shot.
That's actually one question I wanted to ask you is, I mean, even if you're a top 10, top 5 player, there are just so many rules and protocols to a service action that it is something that can play on your mind.
No, I don't agree on that. I think you have to keep it below 115. That's the main thing. Yes, you have to have both feet on the floor, but that's been the case since she was like 5, 6 years old. So there's no change in that. She can, her racket head doesn't have to point in a downwards direction, which makes it considerably easier. So I just think it can be a technical thing that's not correct.
Mental
that's on the
thing.
line.
Yeah.
But exactly, mostly mental.
Psychological, always. One of the biggest barriers in sports, any sport, is whether you can take your skills and apply them at the right time. As we saw with Yeo Jia yesterday. And that's made, of course, as we expected, headlines around the world. Not quite there mentally, but physically, and on skill sets, and on paper, should have won it. Meanwhile, back on court 1. That's the first game for Yeo Jia Min, 21-12 after 12 minutes. So back on court for game 2. Doesn't look like it's a 100% content camp in the Singapore side. Certainly looked like a lot of chats, a lot of talking happening.
I think they could easily be confident. The only thing that's the problem is the service. And you were mentioning that yesterday Yeo Jia, he was the favorite, and that reminded me of a legendary English football manager, Brian Clough, Nottingham Forest. Is that if we rewrite it a little bit, you could say that Yeo Jia was the favorite on paper. Unfortunately, the match was played on green mats.
That is a classic.
Credit to Brian Clough.
Cloughie. That is a classic Cloughie there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fantastic football manager.
Service
really
over, 1-all.
Well, what can Wen Yu Zhang do here?
Well, so far the difference in ranking level has been visible on courts.
As I said, that's actually something that was invisible in the previous match that we saw when Su and Lin really stepped up. In fact, even Lin Bingwei and Lin Qichun against Feng Yanzhe and Huang Dongping was, those rankings went out the window. But here it does look like there's 28 places between them. Now especially beginning to really show, because Wen Yu Zhang is going to be a little bit desperate to get points in the second game. So if Yeo Jia Min can just stay calm, she should be able to find, spaces.
Very nice reverse slice from Yeo Jia Min. Here he comes. She just twist the grip a little bit before hitting.
And Wen Yu Zhang still looking for that side, not having much reward from, as we see it and as she sees it, the right side.
That's wide as well.
That's wide too. So she's there's at least 3 or 4 points in this game that have been lost on that corner. Having troubles with the drift and apparently having troubles with the net.
10-1.
So very rapidly we have come to the mid-game interval. And it's a mistake.
11-1.
So 11-1. Yeo Jia Min in a very comfortable position right now.
正好有打进去，就还有前面说从发接发开始，从接发球开始，太快了，这一下就失误了。所以你可以慢一点，把节奏控制好，不然换个球稍微停顿一下，我想想重新再开始。主要还是前往为主，但是你不要要求效率高，不要说一上来下面球，你要求太高了。
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
So a commanding lead for Yeo Jia Min. And things getting increasingly more pressured for Wen Yu Zhang.
Service over. 2-11.
Oh, she's managed to get a second point. That was, as you see here, an interesting exchange at the net. Just a quick tumble over. Nothing Jia Min could do about that. But also, Steen, in this second game, we've seen a lot less of that shot-making quality that Zhang has because she hasn't had the chance to really unleash them.
And when she's had it, she's missed them. And yeah, I guess it reflects that, that she's a little bit in over her head in this one here. She was originally not in the first qualifying list.
Oh, right.
She was number 3 on the reserve list, but we've had like 7 withdrawals in women's singles before the draw was made or after.
Yeah. Late withdrawals,
So,
sudden caller.
so it is challenging to play a Super 1000 tournament.
Of course, the most noticeable withdrawal in women's singles is defending champion An Se-young, who I'm assuming is still recovering and finally getting her knee in good shape. A lot of people expected her to be here, actually. Well, both ladies on court now just showing a little bit too much in terms of power, and the errors flying in. But Jia Min, of course, can afford to, being 13-5 up. That's gone long as well. That's gone wide, sorry.
6-13.
And the thing is, Yeo Jia Min, she knows by now that she's going to win this match, and she's known
There's been no significant threat to her play, so the inevitability of the situation is indeed beginning to show itself. So a different mindset is needed from her, I'm guessing, when you know that's going to happen.
that was
Lucky.
finally some luck for Wen Yu Zhang.
7 points behind. Now, in any usual situation, I'd say, well, it's not that critical, but the amount of errors that she's been committing, and
Yeah, but she's been playing better,
Service over.
getting a better outcome of her efforts here in the second part of the second game. I was wondering what her coach told her when she was down 11-1 the mid-game interval.
Yeah.
I think it's perhaps been to try and focus on getting some learning out of this.
That's another error from Jia Min, who's having trouble as she sees it on the left side. Now, 3 or 4 more points for Wen Yu Zhang, which might just get a bit of a confidence boost. But you're right, since the mid-game interval, she has been at least picking up more points. And that's a nice drop into front court by Jia Min.
16-8.
Good deception.
That's great. Great return.
16.
And these shots, they become more valuable when playing conditions are more even and when the opponent on the other side is not as quick on her feet and technically strong as Yeo Jia Min is. So a little bit lower ranked opposition, that might have given a totally different picture of Wen Yu Zhang's game.
Yeah. I think anyone these days, top 20 in the women's singles, is going to be a hard proposition. Certainly, I mean, you know the outcome if it's the likes of Chen Yufei or Carolina Marin stepping up. You much know exactly that's gone long. So, 19-9, 2 points needed, and Jia Min through to the second round comfortably. Just 22 minutes on court. And with that miss, that is 11 match points. And based on the pattern of play that we've seen, she's not going to need more than 2. In fact, I think she only needs 1. That's it, 21-9 in the second. 23 minutes on court.
Match won by Yeo Jia Min, 21-12, 21-9.
Big smile there from Yeo Jia Min. Though I'm sure in the back of her head she's going to be thinking about that service action. She's going to have to pick up for the next round. So as I said, it's either on Bungarum Fun or Burova. And based on current form, that's most probably going to be Busanan on Bungarum Fun, who's certainly a formidable opponent. But good win anyway for Yeo Jia Min, and let's see how she does in round 2. There's confirmation of it. 21-12, 21-9, 23 minutes. Welcome back to beautiful Changzhou in Jiangsu province, the venue for the China Open this year. The last of the Super 1000 events, the biggest event in China, of course, and one of the biggest events on the HSBC BWF World Tour. This is the order of play on court 1. It's been very quick matches so far. Mixed doubles up next. It's Lee Chun-Hei Reginald and Ng Si